It was just after midnight when the headlines flashed across the country: Supreme Court ends nationwide injunctions in emergency ruling. Phones buzzed, newsrooms scrambled, and millions woke up to a new legal landscape. The decision came fast and without warning, shaking the foundations of how American rights are protected. For decades, federal courts had the power to freeze government actions across the entire country. Suddenly, that power was gone. Within hours, lawyers, politicians, and activists began to weigh in. Was this a victory for the rule of law or a blow to justice for all? As the sun rose, questions multiplied. What does this mean for ordinary people? Whose rights would be protected and whose would be left hanging? The Supreme Court's 6-3 decision wasn't just about legal rules, it was about the lives of millions. This was more than a headline. It was a turning point, one that will shape America's courts, its politics, and its future. To understand the shock, we need to look closer at the ruling, and at the legal tool it just erased from the map. The Supreme Court's ruling came late at night, issued as an emergency order. 6 justices agreed, 3 dissented. In just a few pages, the court declared that lower federal courts could no longer issue nationwide injunctions, court orders that block a law or government action everywhere in the country. From now on, judges could only protect the people who brought the lawsuit before them. This was not a slow, careful change. It was sudden and sweeping. For years, nationwide injunctions had been used to stop controversial policies, sometimes within hours of their announcement. Now that tool was gone, and the legal world was scrambling to adjust. The majority argued that the Constitution never gave judges such broad power. The dissenters called it a dangerous retreat from protecting basic rights. The ruling matters because it affects real people in real time. When a court blocks a rule about healthcare, immigration, or voting, the effects used to be felt everywhere. Now, those protections might only hold in one state, or for one group of people. The decision changes how fast and how far the courts can act to protect or limit Americans' rights. For millions, the question is simple. If the courts can't step in for everyone at once, what happens when your rights are at risk? To understand why this ruling matters, we need to talk about nationwide injunctions. In simple terms, a nationwide injunction is a court order that stops a law or government policy from being enforced anywhere in the United States. If a judge in Texas or California blocked a rule, that block used to apply from coast to coast. Nationwide injunctions became famous in recent years. Courts used them to freeze travel bans, healthcare changes, and new immigration rules. For those challenging the government, it was a powerful tool. You didn't have to wait for dozens of lawsuits in every state. One judge's order could protect everyone at once. But this power was controversial. Critics said it let a single judge overrule the elected branches of government. Supporters argued it was the only way to protect people's rights quickly, especially when lives or livelihoods were at risk. The debate grew louder as courts blocked more federal policies. For decades, the practice grew, without a clear rule from the Supreme Court. That ended with last night's decision. Now, the legal shield of nationwide injunctions is gone, replaced by a system where protections may be local, not national. With one stroke, the Supreme Court changed how courts protect people's rights across America. The new rule is simple but dramatic. Federal judges can block a law or policy only for the people who sued, not for the whole country. This means that if a group in New York wins a court case, the victory applies to them, but not to people in Texas or Florida. The justices in the majority said this change returns the courts to their proper role. They argued that judges should solve the problems of the people in front of them, not control national policy. No single judge should decide for the entire nation, wrote the court. From now on, lawsuits have a smaller reach. This change is already reshaping legal battles. Advocacy groups must now file lawsuits in multiple states to protect everyone. Governments can enforce policies in some places, even if courts have blocked them elsewhere. The legal system has become a patchwork, with different rules in different places. For ordinary people, this means the outcome of a lawsuit could depend on where you live, and how quickly your local courts act. Justice, once nationwide, is now divided by state lines. The Supreme Court's ruling is not just a story for lawyers, it touches nearly every part of American life. In immigration, it means a court block on deportations or asylum rules may protect some families, but not others, depending on where they live. In healthcare, if a law threatens people's coverage, only those who sue can get relief. Voting rights are also at stake. Imagine a new rule that makes it harder to vote. Before, a single lawsuit could stop the rule nationwide. Now, voters in one state might be protected, while voters in the next state are not. Businesses, too, face confusion. A regulation blocked in one place may still apply elsewhere, creating legal headaches for companies with customers across state lines. This new system means more lawsuits, more legal costs, and more uncertainty. Some people will get help quickly, others will have to wait, or may not be protected at all. The ripple effects are only beginning to show, but one thing is clear. The end of nationwide injunctions changes the rules for everyone. Across America, people are now asking, will justice come fast enough when it's needed most? The Supreme Court's decision has sparked fierce debate. Supporters of the ruling say it stops judge shopping, where lawyers look for a friendly judge to block a law for the whole country. They argue that national injunctions gave too much power to a single court and created chaos in national policy. The majority says this ruling restores balance between the branches of government, but critics warn that the decision weakens protection for people's rights. The dissenting justices pointed out that some laws can hurt millions overnight. If courts can't act quickly to protect everyone, some people will suffer just because of where they live. Justice delayed is justice denied, they wrote, warning that only the fastest and richest will get help. Both sides agree on one thing. The change will make the legal system more complicated. Lawsuits will multiply. Some people will win protection in days, others may wait months or years. The debate is not just about legal theory, it's about who gets justice and when. As the arguments rage on, Americans are left to wonder, did the court restore order, or did it make justice harder to reach? One of the biggest impacts of the Supreme Court's decision is that rights are no longer guaranteed evenly across the country. Imagine a new rule about voting, healthcare, or immigration. In the past, a court block meant everyone was protected. Now your rights might depend on your address. For example, a college student in California could have the right to certain healthcare services, while her friend in Arizona does not, simply because of different court decisions. An immigrant family in Illinois might be safe from deportation, while a similar family in Indiana is not. Businesses face the challenge of following different rules in every state. This patchwork system creates confusion and frustration. Some people feel left out or forgotten. Others worry that their rights could change if they move, or even if a local judge changes his mind. The promise of equal protection under the law suddenly feels uncertain. The new era means legal battles will be fought state by state, case by case. For millions, the safety net of nationwide protection is gone. In its place is a map where justice is divided by invisible lines. The Supreme Court's ruling has drawn strong reactions from every corner of the country. State governments are split. Some governors cheered, saying they can now enforce their own policies without interference from distant judges. Others worry their citizens will be left unprotected if a harmful law takes effect. Federal agencies say the new system is confusing. They must now keep track of different court orders in every state. Advocacy groups are scrambling to file lawsuits in more places, trying to protect as many people as possible. Businesses, especially those that operate nationwide, warn of chaos. They need clear rules, not a patchwork of different laws. Judges and lawyers are divided too. Some say the ruling restores the proper limits of judicial power. Others fear it will make the courts less able to stop injustice quickly. Across social media and in town halls, ordinary Americans are debating what this means for their lives. This is not just a legal story, it is a national conversation, touching everyone from families to CEOs to lawmakers on Capitol Hill. The end of nationwide injunctions marks a turning point for civil rights and the rule of law in America. For decades, these injunctions were a tool for quick protection. Now the courts must find new ways to guard people's rights. Lawsuits will become more local, and justice less predictable. Some experts worry that the new system will slow down the fight for equality. When a law threatens millions, waiting for dozens of court cases could mean real harm. Others believe the change will make the courts more careful and fair, forcing judges to focus on the facts in front of them. This decision may also shift power back to Congress and the states. If people want national rules, they may need to push lawmakers harder. The courts, once the fastest path to change, may now be slower and less certain. The future of civil rights in America is now more complicated. The big question, will this new map of justice serve everyone or leave too many behind? The Supreme Court's 6-3 emergency ruling has changed the legal landscape overnight. Nationwide injunctions are gone, replaced by a patchwork of local protections. For some, this is a victory for democracy and restraint. For others, it is a threat to equal justice and civil rights. What do you think? Should one judge be able to block a law for the entire country? Or does justice demand that rights be protected everywhere for everyone? Will this change make America fairer or leave too many people behind? The debate is just beginning. The future of American justice is in your hands, and in the hands of voters, lawmakers, and judges across the nation. As the dust settles, one question remains: how will this ruling shape the rights and freedoms of generations to come? Your answer may help decide the next chapter in the story of American law.